Hi everybody, I'm at Stanford University in Northern California talking about the attack game and talking about decision making, which seems to be confused by many people. Decision making by the players on the field. So we're going to cover those two things here at Stanford University. Marvellous facility, marvellous environment. To about 50 coaches here answering a lot of questions and going from there. So hope you enjoy the show on the rugby side. All the attack is about scoring tries. Every facet of the attack is how do we score from here? And I think one of the problems in the game right now is we play a lot of pattern rugby. So we coach pattern and we get carried away with pattern and forget that we're out there to score tries. When you watch a game of rugby, most tries are scored from the set piece or one phase or two phases. And that's probably 80% of the tries. Not from 5, 6, 8, 10 phases. A few are. But most of the tries are scored from the set piece or one phase. Line out, strike, score. Line out, strike, breakdown, score. And we spend a huge amount of time as coaches coaching pattern, coaching structure. I'm not criticising that, but what I'm trying to tell you is the easiest way to score is to set piece bloody well, right? Quality set piece ball and strike well off that set piece, and if you do that, your chances of scoring are high. If you don't set piece well and don't strike well, then it's a picket fence game, isn't it? Right, so you've got 15 players from one side standing up like a picket fence and you're trying to score against the odds. So the first thing I think, and I'm not going to talk about set piece because I know stuff all about set piece and I don't want to go down there, and you guys will know a lot more about set piece than I do, the scrum and the line out, right? But if you don't have quality set piece, you're wasting your time. Okay, so you need to scrum well, you need to line out well, and it needs to be effective and quick and efficient. And if you can do that, then you've got to start. Then it's really about how you strike off that. When I was a young coach, and I'm still a young coach, all right, but when I was younger, I had a huge menu of strikes. And when I started coaching, because I coached schoolboys, and then I coached club, then I coached rep, Auckland Blues, then I coached international rugby. So I had a wee bit of time to learn. It wasn't until when I started coaching the All Blacks, and I got close to Dan Carter, or he got close to me, or both. He said, "Shit, Ted, there's far too much bloody information, mate." Now, he was the best 10 in the world, probably, in his time. Not probably, he was, all right? And he wanted a small menu to work with. And I thought, we'll reduce the menu of strikes, what we're doing on the field. Smaller Ted, smaller Ted. So we finished up with probably 5 or 6 things that we did as an attack team, as far as strike is concerned. We may vary the menu from game to game, drop a couple and bring another couple in. You understand what I'm talking about here? If we're talking about line out and we're talking about strike, we may have on the full line out, we may have 2 strikes. Now the players need to listen to this because you're going to do this shortly, okay? And we are the Eagles, and we are playing that way, okay? In the line out, that's the opposition, that's the All Blacks. They're not much good, all right? There is what I call the advantage line. You might call it the gain line. I don't care what we call it. We'll call it advantage line for today, right? And the attacking team, if they can get the ball over that advantage line from that strike, they're doing a bloody good thing. Because they'll have 15 players behind the ball, they get it to there, and these guys will have less. And it's a game of numbers, a game of space. Okay, so we're always trying to win this advantage line. In a line out, the areas of weakness in the opposition are there and there and there. All right, they are the natural areas of weakness in any team. whether it be the All Blacks or the Eagles or whoever they may be. So down that 10 channel, outside 13, and behind the back line or behind that line of defence, they are the natural areas of weakness. So when you have a strike, and it may be, let's be simple, we may pass the ball to 12. The alignment of that pass, the line of that pass is critical. If you pass it back there, you know way you're going to get over this advantage line, are you? If you pass it back there. So that pass needs to be 0 degrees, as close to 0 degrees as possible. And there needs to be a number of options off this 12. So he can run, all right? So he can try and find a weak shoulder and get over that advantage line. He can, so that's one option. He can pass, this guy here is going to run that line, the same line as 12, and hopefully it's very straight. Because one of the biggest curses in the game is people run there. And when you run there, you excuse me, that means you bug it. All right? You've got to run there. If you run there, you fix defenders. All right? You'll fix that guy, and he'll be straight, and then you've got space on the outside. You run there, he can run with you, and he can push off, and you never get anywhere. So straight line running is absolutely critical if you're going to have a good rugby team. But this number 13, he's outside number 12. He runs the same angle, and then he hits late for a short ball. So he runs a very late unders line. Okay? So he's a second option. The third option is behind 13 to 10. And the other option is inside to 11. We're probably going down this channel if you can use your imagination. All right? My diagram's not very good. Or he can kick it. Or he can kick it. So from this strike, we'll call this strike 12 players. We need to all be an option. If we're all an option, 13's an option, 12's an option, 11's an option, 10's an option, the kick's an option, the run's an option, we're going to fix a lot of defenders, aren't we? And everybody's going to have an opportunity if we all fix somebody. Now I saw a game yesterday where that move was played, but the 12 was by himself. So he had 4 defenders on him because there was nobody alongside him, you know, all in a line, all looking as a threat to pull the defence where you want them, so what the option that you use may be successful. So when Dan Carter said to me, Ted, we need 6 strikes, scrum, line out, short line out, and so on, to go into that game with, I'm thinking, okay, Dan, we'll have 6 strikes, but we'll have a lot of options off those strikes, and we're together on that. Okay? But what is critical is that everybody is a threat. All right? And we're a threat for 15 metres. What does that do to the fence? It pulls them wider and creates holes. So when you're coaching attack, you've got to coach the multi-threat game. You've also got to have kicking options on your strikes. So the 13 strike, a little kick from 12 just in behind the line, it's hell of a hard to defend, especially if it's a little short kick, a little short worm. You know, from here to the couch, just behind the couch. There's nobody there. If you kick the ball twice as far to the end of the table, well, it's a waste of bloody time, isn't it? Conrad Smith, you remember the centre? Played for the All Blacks. Probably the most selfless player I ever coached, Conrad Smith. pretty bright boy, lawyer, but he couldn't kick the ball when we first got him. You know, he found it hard to find his foot. But he became the best short ball kicker in the world because he put a lot of effort into making sure he could kick that little short one. And when you're looking at this situation here, you know, working down these tram lines on the wide and outside 13 was a natural weakness, that short ball is very, very effective. Our objective on this strike is to score tries, right? So 13 might just hit and go straight through, 11 supporting him, 15 will get up there, hopefully, and we'll score off that, loose forward and support. So the first objective of strike 12, name of the strike, is to score. And if we don't score, hopefully we've got the ball over the advantage line here or here, all right? Depending on what decision 12 makes when he carries the ball, whether he's going to give the short one, whether he's going to hit 10, whether he's going to go to 11, and he's, like, we're talking the ultimate, right? He sees that hole and he hits, 13's looking for that ball every time. 11's available every time. 10 thinks he might get the ball behind 13, okay? He might kick it because he thinks that's the right option. So we're trying to score. If we don't score, we're over the advantage line and we've got 15 guys behind the ball carrier and 15 behind, and they might have 7 or 8 or 10. So on the next phase, if we do that correctly, we're very likely to score. Sounds simple, eh? Simple game. That's the theory. Need to work the theory, all right? Let's just be very clear here. What I'm talking about is the ultimate thing that you can coach to, right? And on the way, you might say, look, we'll play these two options. We play the short ball, we'll play the ball behind, and we'll use the kick. Why would you use the kick?
Turn the defence around.
Yeah, good answer. Why would you use the kick?
When there's a blitz defence coming up.
When there's a blitz defence coming up. If you don't use the kick, and I watched the game yesterday and I didn't see much kicking, the opposition defence just gets into a pattern and never threaten because there's nothing in behind. They'd have to worry about that because it's not part of the repertoire of the attacking team. So you need kick options and you need to use them. You don't want to overemphasise, or otherwise they'll kick all the bloody time. But you need to have those options, okay? We might call a line out. We might say, look, we want the ball off the back end, all right? I don't think you can get too fussed about it. You know, you probably don't want the ball off the front. You can get middle ball and push it to the halfback there, you know. Obviously, the best ball you can get is off the line out because it's going to fix that back defender to some degree, all right? But, you know, if we get that technical, we may not be able to execute because your line out may struggle to be able to get the ball off the back end in a consistent fashion. So you just got to work with the guys you've got to do that as best you can. If you get the ball off the front, to get a 0 degrees pass is much more difficult. To get the ball off the middle, and if you get the ball off the middle and this is the sideline and you push the ball to your halfback there, right, rather than push the ball to the halfback there, that gives you an advantage. So all those little things. But you with me? Yeah. But in general, this is what we're trying to do. Good question, but you know, we're not all blacks. And we're coaching at a different level, so we just got to work with the guys we've got. But a 12 strike is a simple strike, and I think we can all do it.
So do you have the 10 line up outside the 13, or do you start them in the normal position and loop them around?
Yeah, you'd start normal. That's a good question again. We set up a situation so that the opposition can see the setup, and then we'll change late, all right? We'll change late. But the biggest thing, guys, is that everybody's got to come together. If they don't come together, you're wasting your time because it's an easy opportunity for the defence just to nail 12 because there's no other threats around him, get in and try and turn over the ball. So we need to come together, all right? All looking like a threat. And we need to use the kick option a bit.